Welcome to Resistance Chicks. Michelle will be here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and play this about Marsha Blackburn was there, and she was questioning Dennis Prager about censorship. Now, there was a snippet where one of the Google representatives said that Prager University's video had been put under this adult advisory because of the 10 Commandments. And I wanted to make a video right there because it said the word murder in the 10 Commandments. And Prager University tweeted out, as in thou shalt not murder. And here I am saying the word right now. Do you know how many mainstream media newscasts are on the news talking about war in Syria or terrorism or robbery or, knife fights, gun fights or whatever, people getting killed, and they're not under any parental advisory? Somebody went after Prager University's videos to try to find anything they could, and they convinced this Google executive to lie straight through his teeth and say, we put a parental advisory in the 10 Commandments because of the word murder. And then he's like, thou shalt not. It's like, do you expect me to believe you? Because that is so disingenuous. I just want to I want to laugh in that person's face and be, you're lying to me. I'm not. This isn't a joke. This isn't funny. That's absurd.
Mr. Prager, I've got just a couple of questions before we move on, and I want to go through these quickly. How did Google and YouTube's censorship harm your ability to communicate your message online?
Well, it's fairly evident if things cannot be seen by any family that restricts pornography and violence, if no school can see it, by definition, if it's on the restricted list, if no library can show it, that's a very serious restriction, especially given that our target audience is young people. So they're deprived.
Exactly. And so when I'm talking about these restrictions, those are the same restrictions that YouTube and Google put on pornography. And it's the same for, I didn't mean to turn you off. I just meant to stop you. It's the same censorship that they do for pornography and things like that. And it's for schools and things like that, and libraries.
If things cannot be seen by any family that restricts pornography and violence, if no school can see it, by definition, if it's on the restricted list, if no library can show it, that's a very serious restriction, especially given that our target audience is young people. So they're depriving us of the very people that we most want to touch with our message. So that's pretty dramatic.
So how did your viewership go down after they restricted you?
Well, I can't give you a number, obviously. There's no way of knowing what number of people are in homes that have already have filters and don't even therefore know about a video because it just can't be accessed. We know that many teachers try to show our videos in classes, and they can do it on their own, but they can't do it through the school.
What explanation has Google given you for the restriction?
Well, you used the great word frustration. We have gotten none. And actually, it's almost unbelievable because if you look at the list, and like the 10 Commandments being a perfect example of how people will go, you got to be kidding. Well, what I finally found out today, you did. We all heard. The representative of Google told us why the 10 Commandments video was taken down, because it contains murder. So, as I said, we have a solution. We'll put up one without thou shalt not murder in it. But that's so absurd as to be hilarious. This will be something I will replay on my radio show for years. That is the level of absurdity. I feel like I'm in a Monty Python skit here when he says something like that. The only possible explanation for all of this is they don't like PragerU because we're a very, very influential conservative voice touching a lot of lives. There is no other explanation.
It's absolutely. So I meant to. Michelle actually hadn't heard about that. The Google executive was asked why are Prager University's videos, so many of them, under a parental restriction, and that means that libraries can't access them. Homes that filter pornography cannot access them, and schools can't access them.
So the homes that filter pornography are going to be people that are probably more wholesome and the people that would want to see these things.
You're right. And so the guy tried to say it's only 25% or it's less than 25% of his videos. Well, that's a lot of videos because he has a lot of videos. And I would say that maybe one or, if they said it was a one-off or a two-off, but it's not just a one or a two-off. And maybe if they were talking about ISIS or Syria or whatever, but what my point was before you got here was that the mainstream media, none of them are under those parental restrictions.
Right.
And they talk about ISIS and Syria and murder and gang violence and all kinds of things. And literally he says the word murder is in there. And he's like, as in thou shalt not. So you can't teach kids thou shalt not murder because that would be detrimental to their brains. But I guarantee you all those transgender videos are up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And everything like that. And it's not even... It's very disingenuous because the guy that they put forward for the Google hearing is supposedly like a conservative. So they bring forward this patsy, right? Because Google is not conservative at all. The 88 executives gave to Hillary Clinton, and Google itself, its parent company Alphabet, was the #1 donator to the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Surprise!
I know. And so Prager University's videos are so powerful. Oh, you know what the Google executive said about Prager University when questioned about Prager University? He said, no, Prager University is a YouTube success story. Look how many videos they had.
That I did see.
Millions of views. Yeah, but you curtailed them.
Right.
So the twists and the lies, the demonic lies that they sit down there, they
compile them. Yeah.
They sit down.
So for those of you that don't know, Lee and I used to work in as people doing R&D. We weren't doing the R&D, research and development, but we were consumers that would come in, and we did so many of these. I mean, we've probably done 100 at least, where they want your opinion because they need to get in the mind of what you think. And so they sit down in these big think tanks and they come up with what is going to be best consumed by the consumer, even if it's a line or a narrative that they want to disseminate amongst the public.
But the worst one, literally, the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not murder. Isn't that what we're supposed to teach children? These are the... So anyways, it was very disingenuous that they did that. They lied through their teeth. And I was glad that they did that hearing. Speaking of crazy things against conservatives, this is Miss World America.
Okay, yeah.
Stripped Miss Michigan from her title because of insensitive political tweets and her refusing to wear a hijab on a leftist campus in 2016.
It was an event. It said leftist campus event.
Yeah. So this 20-year-old University of Michigan student posted screenshots of an email and text exchanges she had with this Miss World America director. In the exchanges, I think her name is Jack, continuously declares that there was a problem without explaining the situation to this worried Kathy Zhu. Finally, she revealed that one of the issues was a tweet in which Kathy Zhu declared that the majority of black deaths are caused by other black citizens. And then I actually kind of perused the text messages last night. Yeah. Then the Miss World organization sent Kathy an email demanding that she return her crown and her sash.
No way.
As well as remove any mention of having participated in Miss World America from all of her social media.
Oh my gosh. So she didn't win Miss World.
No, but she was Miss
She participated. Did she win Miss World America though?
I think Miss World America, you start in the you start in Miss America and then you go to the world.
These whole contests are ridiculous to start
with. I feel like, and the organization also took issue with an incident in which Kathy Zhu refused to allow an activist to put a hijab on her head. She responded by saying, what is insensitive is that women in the Middle East are getting stoned to death for refusing to obey their husband's orders to wear hijabs. A Muslim woman tried to forcibly put a hijab on my head without permission. I tweeted about it on social media, and it got a lot of attention in the media. Almost everyone was supportive of me. Following her refusal to wear the hijab, angry Twitter users had attempted to get this Chinese-American student expelled from her university.
Unbelievable. So apparently, really it's okay to have somebody force themselves into your space and on you.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about hijab, which obviously she has her own opinions, but in that moment, you don't like people touching you.
But yeah, there's two things at issue here. Number
one,
you
are in my space. And you're trying to put something on me.
Number two, it's a religious symbol that for a lot of women.
Suppression.
What if I tried to come and put a cross around somebody's neck?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, they would be apoplectic.
What if I refuse to put a cross around my neck?
Right, around someone else. If somebody was trying to put a cross around your neck, then then if you were trying to do it to somebody else and they refused, you would be the bad guy.
Exactly. Back to the Prager University. I wanted to play this here.
By Prager University on topics like the Ten Commandments. Another topic, as I understand it, that was restricted was one in which noted liberal Professor Alan Dershowitz, who was a professor of mine in law school, did a video for you, a historical account of Israel's founding. And as I understand it, YouTube restricted that video as well. Does YouTube ever explain why it is restricting these videos?
It explains nothing. This was the first explanation I heard, the incorporation of murder into the Ten Commandments.
Can you describe what the effect is when a video is placed on the restricted list? We heard the representative from Google say, oh, it's no big deal, it's just 2%. You should be just fine with it. What is the effect of Google arbitrarily?
Well, as I explained earlier, it can't be seen by vast numbers of parents have filters, totally understandably, given how much junk is on the internet. So this is what's so very important. It not only hurts us in that family can't see that video. It hurts us because then it is a statement by Google that Prager University produces videos on the moral level of pornography. I mean,
and there's no appeal, there's no remedy when
no, there is none.
Arbitrary power.
We have actually spoken to representatives of theirs that after they say algorithm, if we actually get someone on the phone, we have had humans review it at Google and keep it up. Why? That's community standards. Your video violated community standards. Well, how exactly does the founding of Israel by a Harvard law professor violate community standards? It just does.
Wow. Dennis Prager is a fantastic human being, by the way. He's so well-spoken, and, you know, his voice commands respect. And our moderators, I haven't thanked you guys in a while, but we're so glad that you help us out. I don't moderate really anymore at all. I haven't done that in forever. Patriot Gallery's been doing dishes, so she hasn't been moderating either. So thank you to all of you guys. Thank you to the viewers. We're so glad that you're here, that you find us, because you obviously have to diligently seek us out and find us to be able to watch us on Fridays and Sundays. So thank you for that. 107 Milford, Ohio 45150. If you send us your stuff, we will read them on air. I haven't checked it in a while. I need to go and do that. So we love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory.
Balaam Omar married her brother.
And that's true.
Which she did.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Good night, guys. God bless.
I was cold, all alone. No place for